And welcome to another episode of DIOTALK. I'm Dio. Let's talk. My guest of the evening, she's in the new film Bonds of Grief, produced by Junito Studio. She's an actress, a nurse, a veteran. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to Marcie Ryan. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor. It's an honor. How you been? What's going on?
Um, just enjoying the summer
I know it's
with
beautiful. It's hot.
being home with the kids. Yeah,
I
yeah,
hear.
yeah.
I hear
Finally
that.
gonna rain, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, here's about to thunderstorm, so it'll probably get refreshing. Um. So let's talk about I've seen this amazing movie, Bonds of Grief, which is amazing. You're at the most I want to say the most important part, which is the ending where you have that the amazing circle and everyone's sharing their story. Like, what's your talk to me about it? How was your experience on it?
I absolutely loved my part because mine wasn't so deep. I mean, it is a could be a very serious situation for somebody,
Yeah,
but it wasn't as deep as some of the other characters. Kind of like the added the levity, the humor,
yeah,
um, snapped us out of it and brought us back in at the end. But yeah, I've worked with Jamie before, so her I was so happy that we had that little scene
yeah, yeah,
together. And there, the one part that I had to say, I think you because I've listened to the other interviews, I think with Janie and Tara, because
yeah.
I was supposed to be on that one, but I couldn't. But so you did see the film, so you know that
Yes,
the scene where
yeah,
um, Jamie and I had our little banter back and forth, but that I was glad to have that with her because I've worked with her before. I've worked with Tara before, and it was great because I see people all the time on Facebook and Instagram, and they work with Zay, and everybody kind of works. I don't know what that was. Everybody kind of works together. It's like a small group kind
yeah,
of.
yeah.
So, and I've seen like Lisa and Eileen and Zuli. I've seen them and I've wanted to work with them. So it was great that that we had that big scene that everybody actually got to see each other and work together. So I was thankful to have that opportunity to work with people I haven't and that I have and to work with Zay. Um, but yeah, I loved my character's lines.
Yeah.
um, it was hard to say one of the lines, but I did. Um, but yeah, it was fun. I had fun with that part.
Nice. Have you gotten to have the opportunity to watch the film completely from start to finish?
I did. I went to the premiere at the theater in Philadelphia with everybody. I think mostly I think everybody was there. So I got to see it for the first time with everybody else.
Nice.
So that was a good experience too. And my family was there too because my parents were
Nice.
visiting, so they got to see it.
Any first initial thoughts when you first saw it? Because it's such a compelling story, it's a deep story. Like,
Yeah, it was great to see it all put together, and Lisa and Zuli did an excellent job. And just to see from beginning to because we thought we were just in that one little tiny part,
yeah.
and we did a table read, but the table read didn't do justice for seeing it on the big screen. So seeing it all put together was a great experience, and seeing this is like the first time I think actually maybe like a good scene, not a little tiny part where I have to pause and zoom in to see myself.
Yeah.
So it was good to see to be on the big screen and see it all happen.
Any initial thoughts from your parents that joined you and watched it at the same time?
They just they were proud of me to be following my dream, my passion, that I had to put off for many years. So they were it was like a really good moment to feel to have them there and
Mhm.
experience it with me. So
I hear that. What was that moment? What inspired you to start acting and become an actress?
Uh, I always had it in the back of my head when I was in high school, and I wanted to get into theater, but I was always too afraid. So I ended up joining the military and then going to school for nursing. And at that time, I thought maybe I'll get into theater too. But then again, I was still too chicken. So finally, I think after my kids got older and I was like pushing up on 40, I'm like, I'm going to try to be an extra. So my first job as a background was on glass. It was glass with M. Night. And
Mm,
that was like the best experience that it was like one and done. I'm like, I want to do this every day. Just being on one of his sets is awesome because just to do one scene, the one scene where I walked up steps, took they had like a crane and built all this stuff like on the spot. And I was like, oh
wow.
my God. And then to watch James McAvoy was even, I was just awestruck. And I'm like, okay, I'm done. I gotta do this more. So I just kind of got into like, did Creed, um, and a bunch of other, extra background, just to get the experience of being on a set. And then I'm like, okay, let's try to do student films and do some auditions and just get my feet wet and take some classes. And then it just kind of, then I think 2020 happened.
Oh yeah.
So that, put a hold on everything. But then that opened up more doors because I was able to take classes. I took like a Meisner class through this school or through this studio in Atlanta, in Georgia. So then I met people there through Zoom and just learning how to use our cameras to actually
Yeah.
do a class and act. I think it takes a whole other
I
a
can
whole other perspective.
yeah, I can imagine it was weird doing everything through
Yep.
Zoom and trying to, because in person you could get to like almost feed off their energy, right? And
Right.
have that connection, but through like, a Zoom call is kind of difficult
Yeah.
to, get into character.
And it actually worked because how we made it work. And then we would do our own stuff outside of class, like film our own scenes and then show them. And then, so yeah, they made it work. But you're right, it's not as being there in with the person next to you doing the scene.
Yeah.
It's not the same, but it worked
Okay.
for a while.
No, I can imagine. I can imagine. You got to make it work no matter what.
Yep.
How long have you been doing this since that moment of you decided, hey, I'm gonna do this?
So it was like 2017 was when I was first on that, did my first background.
Okay.
So didn't really start getting more serious into it until like maybe a year after that, where I would start trying to find as many auditions as I could possibly
Got
get
it.
and as much experience.
Got it. How long did it take you
And then
to
it
to
just
land?
kept on
Kept
going.
kept on grinding. How long did it
Yeah.
did it take you to finally get a part in a film or a short film where you spoke, whether it's you're the main character or just a character in the mix? Like, how was that
Um,
moment like for you?
well, it's funny. I thought it was just going to be an extra. It was a independent like short film, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you get to be a nurse and you get to say a line." And I was like, I was like so excited. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I got to say like Angelica, it's your turn or something. I was a nurse telling her to come back. And the other extras who were there with me were like, oh my gosh, you could say a line. So that was like my first, I was like, yeah, I got to say a
Yeah.
line. And then after that, I did a couple like a student films. Oh, it was my first student film where I was like the mom and it was a supporting role. And that was like it was called Ripple. And it was very the subject matter with the girl was raped. So the subject
Oh
matter was
wow.
pretty
Intense.
yeah, yeah. So it was a good experience too, because that was the first time I really had a part that was actually an important part of the
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
So,
So how do you like for the role you played in Bonds of Grief? How was it? Was it difficult to you to prepare for that role? Like, or is it just trying to remember the lines and get it out there?
um, it wasn't, I felt like I kind
Because
of connected
it's like
with the,
a monologue, right? That you gotta.
yeah, it was, yeah. So just kind of, I kind of could relate in some
Mhm.
aspects because I've been married for way too long.
Yeah.
So after a while, it's like, oh, so it was kind of hard not to not be able to connect with that
Mm.
character. Uh, but yeah, I don't sometimes memorizing stuff could be kind of put like for auditions, I'm like, oh, how many pages do I have to do for for an audition? How many that might put me off, but I'll try it. But
Yeah.
it wasn't too difficult to try to prepare
That role.
for this scene for the
Got it. No, I can imagine. Like, just for me, I usually have like when I'm recording a show, like bullet points on a piece of paper to remember key things because I can't. I don't got. I'm too old. The memory is getting fuzzy already. I don't sleep. My kids. So
yeah,
it can get tedious at times.
distractions. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. How long like how long does it take from when like you get a call back? How is that like? I've never asked that question before. Like when you go to audition,
Um,
like I've heard the story of rejections, but I've never actually heard stories like, okay, you got this part. How do you process that?
it's I try not to think about it. I try to just do the audition and then
Mm,
just be like, okay, it's done. If I hear back, great. If I don't, then I have to move on because I do it's hard not to do that because then it's like, well, why didn't I get that? What did
yeah.
I not do? Um, and
You
then
start
because like
almost
there's been a
like doubting
couple things,
yourself.
right, and I like did a couple auditions for small like a tiny little lines in a series, and I didn't get it, but then I saw the person when I watched it on TV. I saw the person and I was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense why that person got it over me. It fits
Got it.
the role. So I try not, I think a couple times I don't get a lot of callbacks. So it's like you put in so much and so much and so
Yeah.
much, and then um callbacks are like the golden ticket. So when I do, it's I'm just happy that that happens. Just getting an audition,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you realize how many people put in for that role. Just getting an audition is just getting over that
Yeah, that hump.
one barrier. But then the
Yeah.
callback is like, yeah. I think once I was put on hold for like a commercial and I was like all happy, but then so
And you're
it's a tough
yeah,
gig.
yeah.
That's
No, I can imagine. And you're a SAG actor, right? Actress. You're in the
I'm
union, right?
SAG eligible. No,
What?
I'm SAG eligible.
Oh, so what's the
I
difference?
can if I choose.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just I did a bunch of background stuff where I was able to get my waivers, so I'm eligible. I can join. I'm not a must join, but I don't even think you don't really have to join.
Yeah.
I guess here, as what I'm told in our area in Philadelphia, there's more non-union work than there
Mm.
is SAG work. So that's why I haven't really
Oh, got it, got it.
went over to the
Yeah. To
to
the dark
SAG yet.
side. Because
Yeah,
you can't like to my understanding, you can't once you're in their union, the organization, you can't go like do like an indie film now or a short film that doesn't have uh the union whatever inside of it.
right.
You
Right. I
have,
think you can go FICOR, but I don't think a lot of people do that. Some
mhm.
people do. I don't. All I know is not yet, but when
Yeah.
I have to, I will.
Yeah,
Um,
whatever works, right?
yeah.
But you've been doing a great. I've seen some of your stuff and different short films you've been in, which is good because it gets you a push to see your craft, see what you've been doing. It's like almost like a resume. So people are definitely watching. So these short films, I think, have been, especially in Philly. In Philly, there's a lot of amazing individuals like Zay that are really crafting themselves. And if they work real hard, I think like Philly can be the future Hollywood, just like Atlanta right
Right.
now is building. So I think that's a perfect fit because it helps you build a resume and experience. Because just
Yeah.
being an extra, it's good, but like sometimes you have that itch to do a little bit more.
Right. Yeah. And we even just to like do your own stuff. I was in a an acting group called Actors Think Tank, and just a bunch of group of actors just supporting each other. And we'd have meetings with. It came up during COVID when everybody was stuck inside, and they made this group
Mhm.
and talked, and then they expanded after it was over with, and they've done films. They've like out they do a lot of stuff together and then just supporting each other.
Mhm.
And we did when I had to stop because life happened. But
Yeah.
when I was with the group, we did a collaboration with a the director and casting director who live in California, called Killing Hope. So we like wrote it together with them. And then we went to LA, filmed it in 3 days. And it's a black and white film noir murder mystery,
Right.
um, who done it kind of thing. And we've been putting it it's been in the film festival circuit and it's doing pretty good. We've gotten some awards and the director has gotten a bunch of awards. So just doing your own stuff to give you that resume, to give it for your reel is
Mhm.
exciting too. I
Yeah.
never would have thought when I first started that I would have done something like that. So just saying yes sometimes,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though it might be just saying yes and then just letting
Yes.
it all fall into place.
Yeah.
Um, which I really envy people like Zay who just kind of they do film after film after film after
Yeah.
film. And any of the independent people that I work with, and I worked on a film with somebody who filmed, they did a feature film called Miscalculated. And it was a cop comedy kind of film. And it was so exciting to go because that was like he did his film, he got it on the screen. It's I think on some of the streaming networks. So just to do that, I'm just in awe and envy them because it's it's a great moment when your
Mhm.
baby is put
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So
No, I
that's
agree. I agree.
another reason why I
Yeah.
like.
But you know what I admire about you, and I'm fascinated that I've said this a bunch of times on the show, and you're actually the first person that I've met that actually done what I've been telling people to do, like connecting with filmmakers that are going to school because they have, certain projects that they have to be grading on and have to go out there
Right.
and fill something. And why not take that opportunity? Like somebody who has an idea for a script, like if you meet somebody who's in film school, they get to rent out their equipment or use it
Right.
because they have to do that for school. And I think that's badass of you that you're able to take that opportunity and do the best with it.
Yeah, I've worked on a bunch of student films and it's like when I was doing Bonds of Grief, I was also the next day doing it was another sad movie. But and we had another like group, it was a cancer group. So it was
Mm.
like going from one can group to another group. So yeah, that was a good
It
story
was
too.
it was very
I just love,
depressing.
yeah, it was a very hard weekend. But it's
Bummed out
just,
half the time.
and then even horror, like I love horror films. I've been, uh, I did it's on YouTube. It was, it's called, oh my gosh, I can't even talk right now, but it's called The Mystic Metronome, and I was like the villain. So
Oh,
I
nice.
loved that was so much fun to do that. So if you want to check that out, it's on YouTube on
Well,
um
definitely, definitely.
but and a couple others too. But those I think those are the funnest.
Are you like when you get the opportunity to apply to for these auditions, are you particular looking for a particular character that you enjoy that you can see like, oh, I like, or is it like whatever they have, you're just gonna go and
It
audition for it?
used to be whatever I could get, but now I'm like, I want the messy characters. I want the villains. I want the I auditioned for it was for like a pilot for a heroin addict mom who and I was like, I want that one because it was also auditioning for it was the best because I didn't have to wear any makeup, didn't have to like just put on a like crappy looking
Just like you woke up
tank top.
on a
Yeah.
day.
My hair not even done. And I was like, yeah, these are the parts that I want. Where I don't have to put the makeup on. I don't have to be all perfect. Just messy. The messy. The
I
messier the
I
better.
I hear that. Yeah, yeah. How is your family like? Have they been supportive? Have they been shocked that you're doing all these amazing things? Like, do they like almost get like fame shock or whatever you call that? Because to see their
No,
mom and do these things, you know?
they get tired of me asking them to audition with me. I need a reader. And I'm like, come on, just need to read with me. But they're so over me, right? But they in the
Kids, huh?
beginning, they were then when they'd see me, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, good for you." But now they're like, well, "Okay, mom." But yeah, so I have to find good readers because they won't do it for me.
Oh, I hear that. Yeah, after a while, sometimes families suck, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know, it's the ones that you don't know that support you more than your own family.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I all of like my parents and my husband's parents, my friends, my coworkers, they're all so very supportive. And then like every time I put something on social media, they're like right there, yay, yay. But my kids, not so much.
I don't know. One day they'll be parents, and then they'll be looking back, so everything's a
That's right.
learning curve.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to ask, what is it that, what is it with horror, man? Because like, at least for the people I've been able to meet through Zay, they all love horror. I don't know what it is. Like, what is it?
I don't know either. I guess because it's just you don't know it's no holds barred. You don't know what's gonna
Mm,
happen.
go
It's
batshit crazy
yeah.
and film
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I did a horror with Showbix with Jess and
Okay.
Jess and Zay work together and I was the like demon from the mirror and that was so much fun too.
Mhm.
Just being the
Yeah.
scary person. It's just I guess it's not so you can just
It's
kind of
not, it's not
just
like, you don't need CGI. You really don't need a whole location. You can make those things work in anywhere, really, where you are,
right,
you know?
right.
So the flexibility, I think it's cool. I think, I just, I would like to see an original story when it comes to horror because there's a lot of like demonic crap out there. There's a lot of, religious
Yeah.
horror. Like I want to be something different.
I know. It's like they redo everything.
Yeah.
Um remakes. I think the only remake I really liked was oh the zombie one. Was it Dawn of the Dead?
Hmm. Yeah.
Where they were in the mall. Is
Is
that
there any more?
yeah, I think that was Dawn. Oh my gosh, what was that one?
You know what
It
they
scared the crap out of
Yeah,
me
you know what
because
they remade that it kind of sucked is Chainsaw Massacre. Like they made it 3D and they have like Trey Song and all these young actors who are hit at the time. Like, oh my God, that sucked so much.
is that the one with Matthew McConaughey in it? Was that one or
No, that's like the was it? No, there's like this.
no?
There's that's I know that's like old. That's like his early stuff. There's one that they
Okay.
did like if you when backs when we had DVDs, right? Oh, God, I feel so old, right? And where like it was really like the film was like very it was like a documentary. It was like well done.
Okay.
And then there's another one that's called Chainsaw Massacre 3D, which is a remake,
Oh,
but
I don't
it's
think I
like
ever saw that.
yeah, it's like a remake for like teen slasher or something like that they
Okay.
call it. That it sucked.
The best are like the psychological kind of like there was one speaking of Matthew McConaughey called Frailty.
Mm,
It was good. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but if you ever get a chance, watch that. I won't say
definitely.
anything because it takes you for a loop.
Yeah, I got it. All right, I'll check it out. What like so you've been doing Bonds of Grief. You did another one that's cancer. You've done horror. Like, what's next for you? What are you looking forward to do besides horror and a little bit comedy, right? Because gotta lighten it
Yeah,
up.
comedy's fun. But I would like to do a really emotionally charged movie, like the crying, the emotional, get into
Ooh,
that kind of state. I haven't really had to do that.
the drama, get it all out there.
Right, right. Yeah,
At this point,
that's
will
my
be
next.
at this point will be more therapy than anything else for you.
Yes, yes.
So you're a veteran. How was your time in the Navy like?
I was
First of all,
pretty
thank you for your
easy.
service.
Thanks. It wasn't much really. I was before anything, before 9/11, before I was stationed in Hawaii, so really wasn't that. I should say thank you. But it was just to travel, see the world right out of high school, money for
Nice,
college kind of thing. So it all
nice.
worked out.
I mean, Hawaii's not bad. Yeah, I can imagine you had a wonderful view from time to time.
Yeah, Hawaii was nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, like, do you have any films coming out? Anything that the audience should or is waiting for?
I'm trying to think. Not just the one that I did the pilot, the series pilot. It's called, okay, I remember the name of that. It's called Hometown. Um, but I don't even really know when that one's going to come out. That was that one I filmed in Ohio.
Wow.
And then the student film, which I don't know when that one will come out.
So
I'm
you got
writing
something coming
stuff.
out. You
I
got
got
something coming. You
I
got
got some
something coming
stuff.
out. Hopefully soon.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what have you been writing? Because that's amazing.
I wrote a horror script. Um, and now I kind of entered it into a festival to see what would happen with it. And haven't heard anything back yet. Still waiting on that. But that one I had fun writing because it was about basically it's about being an actress and going out there into uh auditions that you don't know what's going to happen, kind of scary because we've all kind of had like
Yeah.
that in the back of our head.
That's actually like an awesome idea. That's like an awesome idea.
Right. Yeah. So that, and then I kind of have another screenplay that I wrote about my dad when he was in the Navy on a ship during Vietnam. So that one I'm trying to do a collaborative with the people who I did Killing Hope with, and then another one kind of in the works. I'm just trying to make my own stuff and while I'm auditioning and trying
Yeah.
to break into
That's awesome.
network TV. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome. How is that writing process? Like do you just come up with idea and you one of those people that just write or like does it take you time to like develop that idea, that thought process? What can occur storytelling wise?
um, usually I'll start it and then it sits for a bit, and then I go when I get that itch again, I'll go in there and start writing, right, and then I can't stop. So, um, I have to have it in my head, like if I think of it, I'm like, okay, I got to sit down. I got to write it down now. I got to write it down. I got to write the idea down or talk to people about it. because the more I talk about it, the more then I want to sit down and write it. I don't have any specific process.
You just
All I
write it
have
down.
is a bunch of final draft stuff on my laptop that I probably need to get off my laptop, so I'll have room. Um, but I have a couple different stories. It's just sitting down and
Got it.
finishing it.
Got it. When you were you able to read the script, the entire script, before you were cast in Bonds of Grief to get to get an idea what is the story about?
I no, I think we just like for audition purposes, I just had like a scene um that wasn't even the character that I had. But then we did a table read. So and then they actually went over like we met with Zay and went over our backstory with the character about the character and kind of developed more from that. And then we did a table read. So we
Nice,
got to know
nice.
the whole script. But I didn't fully read it until the table read.
Got it, got it. And I can imagine that experience where it was a whole eye opener, everybody reading their part, and
Yeah.
just reading wise, putting everything together.
To put it all into perspective. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
All right. So now the movie's out. You're in it, obviously, right?
yeah.
Um, it's out. I'm not sure where the streaming platforms, if that's yet to be released, but now it's out. If you had one thing to tell somebody to watch this movie, what would be that reason?
I would say to watch the movie because it is a heartwarming story about what brings people together. Um, so the two main characters, the one helps the other. So building a bond and a relationship, one little thing can help. You never know what that might be. So you never know what you might click over something with somebody else.
Boom. There you
And
have it,
that's
ladies and
why you should
gentlemen.
see it.
Yeah, there you go. Before we go, please tell the people where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram under Marcie Ryan, Facebook, YouTube under Marcie Ryan, and I'm on various streaming networks on a couple different independent projects. Tubi, um, Amazon, maybe Peacock as well.
Do you want to drop any names, any film you're into, so they can go watch?
Miscalculated. That I believe is on Amazon and Tubi. There's what Regrets, which is a great story as well. That is on Tubi and Paramount, I believe. And I think that Bonds of Grief is going to be on Amazon here shortly. So
Boom. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go like, make sure you go follow and support and watch her stuff. Continue to support her as she grows in this amazing entertainment industry. Go check out Bonds of Grief when it comes out, produced by Junito Studio. Make sure to go follow me at Mr.Inspire10 on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Diomar King Diaz. Like and subscribe our YouTube channel, DIOTALK TV, and check out my website, dreaminspire10.com. Go buy my merch. Have a good night, guys. I'm out.